Hello, Spoon. Um, that was the Xenoblade music that was in the direct yesterday. That was playing
hmm
just now. I'm pretty sure it just like looped the section because it wasn't too long,
Yeah.
but that was it's already on YouTube, so figured use that. Don't think it'll get bopped. At least I hope not. That would suck. Um, but yeah. So we just wanted to say to everyone, sorry for starting late. Um, that was my fault. I've been having some things develop in the last like hour or so, and so the late start is because of some stuff that I had to deal with, and we'll probably have to end a little bit earlier than our normal like 2 hour runtime because of some stuff that's developed. So thanks everyone for bearing with me. Thank you Spoon for bearing with me on that. But we're here with mostly Nintendo Direct news. Got some other things to talk about. But Spoon, how are you today?
Yeah, yeah, I'm good. Nintendo Direct yesterday was really hyped, to be honest. We'll talk about it as probably the main part of the podcast today.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to the desert for the weekend tomorrow for my birthday and for Valentine's Day, I guess, which is on Monday.
Yeah,
So,
that's super cool. And happy birthday.
yeah,
Can't believe it. You're 42 years old. That's
I know.
crazy.
42,
it's
yeah. Yeah,
insane.
you got me.
Absolutely insane. Uh, sorry, I couldn't help it. I think for intros today, I'm not going to talk about the YouTube and put it up on the screen, but please, guys, check it out. We had one YouTube video that did great. We always appreciate any help that can be provided, and I don't think I have any other things to announce for from my end. The Halo 3 playthrough is just it's getting pushed back because partly just because of my weekends with my personal stuff and also with homework. But this weekend there might be an opportunity for Halo 3 this weekend. It depends on how the schedule pans out. But that's yeah, just all the support's great. Come by the Twitch. Our live streams are they're nice. We like to communicate with people whenever possible.
hmm
Um, and yeah, that's my intro. Spoon, anything to add?
No, I don't think so. As you said, I think we just appreciate, obviously, we've got a pretty small channel here, both on Twitch and YouTube, but we appreciate any and all support and contributions, comments, likes, Twitch views, etc.
Hmm.
You know, come in, tell us what you think, tell us what you agree with, tell us what you don't agree with, tell us that we're idiots, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm used to that part too, so it's totally fine. But let's talk about some news. I actually think today's news. I think we've got some funny news to start with. I've decided personally, without talking to Spoon, we should start with funny news.
hmm
I thought we should start with a joke. Okay, we're gonna start with a gaming joke. Everyone's gonna laugh. We're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be a great start. Google Stadia. Mm-hmm. Google Stadia. There's your joke for the day. Google
yeah.
Stadia is they're not shutting down. Let's be clear. Google Stadia is not shutting down. However, they're pivoting. After 2 years, Google Stadia has decided to pivot, and it has been 2 years. They decided to pivot. Google Stadia is now selling the technology that powers Stadia, the ability to stream from their servers. They're going to sell that. They have interesting parties. Peloton, the like bike company that's lost like $40 billion, by the way, they're interested. I don't know why I feel like their buildings are on fire right now.
hmm
Um, Bungie is interested. I I don't know why Bungie's interested. I'm sure there's like a good reason why Bungie's interested. There was two other companies that I know of that were interested. I don't remember. There was like a game publisher that was interested. I don't think it was Capcom. It was somebody else. There's some interested parties for what they're gonna call Google Stream. Now, my opinion is this stinks of desperation. That's all
Oh
my
yeah.
opinion is. This is just it stinks of, well, we made this technology. How can we salvage it? How can we make a couple bucks? Um, this is this is not out of the ordinary for Google, though. This is not out of the ordinary for Google to be like, okay, 2 years
No, yeah, yeah.
didn't work,
It,
moving on.
yeah, they try things, and if they don't work, they kill them very quickly. Like,
Which I think this is completely Google's fault too. It's 100% Google's fault that this didn't work. The the systems that worked, even the technology itself didn't work right. Initially, like we saw videos, the famous video of there's this guy playing Destiny and he hits his keyboard, the space bar, and like actually a second later the character jumps. Like
yep.
there, that's an issue. The uh bandwidth required to use it is an issue.
Hmm.
The library of games is an issue. The lack of commitment to their first party studio was an issue. They just canceled that thing so fast. They're
And
like,
the pay, like the way they monetized it was a complete issue. I
yeah,
mean, everyone talked about when that thing came out, it should have been just it should have been Netflix. Like, you should have paid, like, I don't know, $15 a month, like Game Pass or something like that, and you should have had access to whatever their library is. You shouldn't have had to
right.
buy games separately. That was just a horrible freaking
It,
decision.
there are just like all sorts of bad decisions surrounding this product, and I do actually think the Google Stream idea is just a better idea rather than trying to do consumer stuff, like sell it to the actual publishers and developers. There might be something there. There might be something interesting there. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what it is, but like maybe having like demos or like certain alpha builds like readily available through Google Stream where people don't have to actually go through an installation process. They just boot up the game and that's it. Maybe that's better. Maybe that's better. Um Obviously there are some betas that
Yeah.
actually carry your progress over, so I don't know how that works, but there might be something here.
There's also certain types of games that, like, if you have a little latency, like input delay, it'll be a little annoying and a little noticeable, but it won't be that bad.
Right.
Like turn-based games, like
Yeah.
turn-based strategy games or something, like, that doesn't require quick inputs. You're making selections in a menu, and then, stuff happens. Like, you don't have to be able to react and jump and shoot correctly,
Mm.
but anything that requires, precise inputs, shooters, RTS, action, character action games, a lot of games, to be honest. It's just like, if you have input delay, it's going to be a
It's a problem.
problem.
Yeah, it's a problem.
But again, there are certain types of games, like, I could play, again, it would be annoying, but I could play something like Humankind or Civilization or
Sure.
Super Robot Wars or Fire Emblem. I could play those games with input delay. I mean, I wouldn't like to, but you could.
You could, yeah. It's more feasible than Destiny. um
Yeah.
I, there might be something. I think that the actual technology that powers the service when it's working is I would think good given the right business model too. So, but the consumer product that is Google Stadia, according to this, it's deprioritized. I would believe it 100%. Google Stadia tried to do some like PR, recouping on Twitter, being like, "No, we're adding more games to our library has like over 200 games, and we're going to add 100 more over the course of a year." And part of me is like, okay, but other services have way more games than that, and like even if you consider like just the PlayStation Store runs on pretty much the same business model as Google Stadia. You buy the games, you like, except Google
You
Stadia, you may have to
stream.
actually
Yeah.
pay, but
Yeah.
pay like to for the pro membership. But like uh, Google Stadia's business,
PlayStation. Yeah. You
yeah,
just have to download them to your system for the PlayStation Store.
yeah,
But, like, it's like, again, Game Pass exists.
yeah.
They don't stream the games to you. You have to install them to your system, either your PC or your console, depending on which one you're using. But,
Hmm.
it's, you pay $15 a month and you get access to the entire library on Game Pass.
Right. And Game Pass is just a better value proposition at this point, like
Yep.
than anything Google Stadia has provided. So I I, I I'm not shocked that this happened. I think that they're trying to salvage it as just desperation, and I don't even know. Like maybe Google Stream has a place, but I also wouldn't be surprised if another 2 years from now I see another article. It's like, okay, Google's shutting down its entire service
Yeah.
for this. Wouldn't be surprised at all. So
I mean, yeah, if they're able to sell the technology and like the servers and the stuff they put in place to someone who can use it effectively, sure, I'm all for that. But you know,
I, it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting. They're calling it a white label service, which um for those that don't know, my interpretation is when you give somebody a white label, you basically okay, you can use the technology and you can kind of like put your own branding on it. You can put your own like spin on it, however you like, but it's our technology still. But it's gonna look like your branding. So
yeah.
I don't know for like a Bungie, maybe that's good. I don't know though. I don't know why Bungie wants it. Like other people that aren't gaming companies, maybe I could see it. Also, like Peloton is a workout product, and they kind of want to gamify their workouts. Like that might make sense. Maybe there's some kind of system that Google can implement with that. That makes sense. But Destiny running on Google Stadia is I don't know. It's weird to me still. I don't like. I'm not sure if that's better than what we already get with Destiny. That's my only problem. It's always been my problem. So,
Yeah.
any other thoughts?
Nope, not surprised that Stadia's. I mean, it's not dead, but it's basically dead.
Stadia's dead. Google Stream will take over, which is such a lazy name. Okay. Next thing I have, there's we talked about this a little bit when we had our little podcast chat. But the general actual news piece is Platinum Games wants to do some different work and wants to go into a bit more live service model. Wants to go a bit more into that live service model. Um, Platinum Games does make some really good titles. The Nier series, Bayonetta. They're gonna have Babylon's Fall coming out soon, which you obviously are hesitant with, but maybe somebody wants Babylon's Fall. Um, this is a studio that does good work, and they want to do live services. So we talked about it, Spoon, and the interesting thought that we have is that I posed as well is live services make more money than Near Automata.
Yep.
So
Well, yeah, near Automata you release once and you get your money and that's it.
right, like a live service over time is going to make more money. It's appealing to certain people. Not everybody likes to hear that word, but they're to people that are looking at how much we can make over time. Live service is really appealing. There are a lot of extremely popular games out now that are live services. Fortnite, Destiny. We talked about Destiny. Call of Duty, Warzone, Call of Duty in general. Halo is going to be a live service. A lot of really popular games are live services. That was just like a taste, by the way. League of Legends too. So, and those make probably the most money. So, on one hand,
When they
it
work.
yeah, when they work. Marvel's Avengers didn't work, and that lost a lot of money. Um,
Hmm.
so in an ideal world, publisher Square Enix comes to Platinum. In their mind is the ideal world, and they say, "Hey, Platinum, you make great games. Can you make a live service and make us a ton of money?" And Platinum's like, "Well, we haven't really done that before. Are you sure? We don't really know what to do." Um, and like, no, 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 we'll do it. We'll try it. In the best case scenario, you get Destiny. In the worst case scenario, you get Marvel's Avengers,
Or you get Godfall,
or you get Godfall. Oh,
which is, I mean, Babylon's Fall is looking like Godfall to me a little bit because it's like,
oh,
you know, Babylon's Fall is kind of a looter slasher as they particularly put it in that
oh.
game.
Godfall is somebody out there who like made Godfall and was like really banking on that to work out. Somebody went into a deep depression after that. That's all I'm going to
Probably.
say. Oh, that game. Oh man, that game just died. So like, oh god. Um, what are
I
your
don't know if
thoughts?
that game even. I don't know if that game even lived. Like
It it lived
it came
5
out and it
seconds.
instantly died.
It lived 5 seconds, and then people realized, wow, this isn't that great, and then stopped. But what do you think of this? Like, you played Platinum Games
Yeah, I've
games.
played Bayonetta. I didn't beat Near Automata, but I played some of it. I mean, they make good action games. Like their combat is always well made and fun and very fluid and flashy, and you are usually rewarded. Nier's a little different because Nier is more of an RPG, but
Yeah.
Bayonetta, like you're rewarded for doing well, for not getting hit, for doing long combos, for varying your attacks. Um, it's like Devil Bayonetta at least. It's like Devil May Cry. You're given a
Mm-hmm.
rating after
Yeah, sure.
each like segment of the game. You're given like it's a meta. They're like medals in that game, but and I think like that model could work in a live service and you'd get loot based on like how well you did. I think it could work, but it's dangerous. A and B, I don't like seeing studios that make really good single player games go to the live service model because it's just like I don't know. Because a lot of time it doesn't work out, and then the studio like sometimes they just die.
Right.
And Platinum's a great like has been a great studio for the past I don't know 10 years or so. Maybe a little more than that actually. Um,
Let's take a Bethesda as an example. Bethesda made a lot of single player games. Okay, like Bethesda mainline, games being the Elder Scrolls series, Fallout, all that jazz. We're not talking about the other stuff that's made by other studios that go under the umbrella of ZeniMax. Um, they tried Fallout 76, which was supposed to be a live service game.
mhm.
I think I don't need to say anything more about how that went. The That had more problems though. That had a bad engine too. That was a bad engine.
It was just a bad
That
game.
was a bad engine. But the other problem is like when you do a live service, one, if you charge for said live service also implies that you're going to do a microtransaction system of some kind.
Yep.
DLCs is an option, like expansions to an MMO series. But what usually happens in live services now is they sell you everything else. Costumes, emotes, things that hopefully are not changing the game in a way where
Yeah.
you're just a better player for paying $5 extra.
Hopefully they don't go the pay to win route. We don't like
Right.
when they do that.
Which would be shocking if they did. But there's like a delicate system in place for that. Like you gotta delicately navigate that territory. Otherwise you're gonna make people really unhappy. Um they and also live services have this habit, and I think I think you'll agree with me on this. Live services, I have not seen a lot of live services that come out to have like enough content to sustain people,
Yeah. They usually don't come
or
out in
they're
a
not
good
finished.
state.
Yeah,
It's like either the game isn't very good or it has a lot of bugs or there's just not enough content
right.
to sustain the live service on launch.
They put like far little content than what should be there, and there's also the issues of, yeah, like you said, it's just not in a good state, things like that.
I feel like it would be better. Okay, this might be hard to do,
Okay.
but I feel like it would be better for studios who want to do a live service to like release a good game on launch, and if people like it and want more, then turn it into a live service. Don't go, hey, this is a live service. We're going to release a crappy, incomplete game with all these microtransactions, and we'll fix it later. Because that pisses people off. But if you release a good game at launch and people like it, and you're like, oh, people like this, maybe we'll add more, maybe we'll put in some cosmetics, some microtransactions, some whatever. Fine. They want more. Give me DLC, give me microtransactions. Though, okay, for a game to be a live service, a lot of times they'll have those like loot gear, quality drops and like that
Right.
kind of system in the game. So you might have to put that in place in the main game. But like to me, it's like build a good game first and then make it a live service. Don't go, hey, let's make this a live service and build the whole game around it being a live service and then make a crap game because it's a live service. Because I
Right.
feel like that's what happens a lot of time.
Well, yeah, because the
Start
assumption is
with
like
the
we can fix it.
foundation
Yeah.
of make a good game that is fun to play.
See, now here's like the truth is that some games do that though. They
Sure.
come out in a really good. Destiny 2 came out in a good state actually. It just didn't have enough content. But the game itself worked really well beyond like the content issue. Um, I guarantee that's not the only like one that came out as live service. Like, like I mean, other games I'm sure like Fortnite probably came out, not the save the world mode, but the BR came
Mhm.
out in a state that was good. Like I can almost guarantee it came out in a great state. And it's a BR, so like as a live service, all it needed to be is just like fun to play all the time. It didn't need to have like DLC added, but like they obviously add more contents like seasons and the battle pass, things like that, like incentives to want to progress further, which is the issue that Halo has right now. There's like almost no incentive to progress. Um, if you're a free to play player, um, there's like a delicate balance of have enough content, which is what Destiny didn't have enough content, but it had like a great like Destiny 2's backbone was good. The foundation was good. Um, so you have to have enough content. You have to decide if you want to make people pay for the first version of the game or not, which can be kind of dangerous because
Yep.
like people get thrown off by that too. It's like, well, you're a live service. Why are you charging me $60? And you're just going to charge me more after the fact. Um, so you have to have a good monetization model, and you have to make the game enjoyable for periods of time beyond like the first week, which is
Yeah.
also really hard. Like,
My other problem personally with live services, and this is not a lot of problem people have because I know people like love Destiny and they love League of Legends and
sure,
they play those, and there are plenty of games that people play like almost exclusively, like they only play Destiny, or maybe they don't only play Destiny, but they play Destiny and then maybe they play other stuff too.
sure,
But for me, I don't know. I like get sick of stuff or I just like want something new and I like my single player games. I like playing a game, getting through the game and then moving on to the next thing.
right,
The game that I stuck with, I can't think of a game that I stuck with very long since like World of Warcraft back when I was in like like in middle school and high school
mm-hmm.
that I played for a couple of years. The other games that I've played for a long time, I mean, in college we played Call of Duty a lot, multiplayer, so
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
say that. But the only other game that I've played for any extended period of time recently was Genshin. I played that for about 6 months, but still eventually I kind of just like, okay,
yeah.
whatever.
Eventually,
Like,
like, eventually, at some point, you're like, I can't do it anymore. Um, but that happens too in Destiny. Like, I can almost guarantee that when a new expansion hits for Destiny, for about up until the
oh,
raid comes out, there's like a huge player base. The raid comes out, and then it's out for like maybe 2 weeks, and then the player base drops like significantly.
yeah,
That's so natural. The only people that stay are the ones that like want to
super
continue to do the new
super
season
hardcore.
content. There's like
Yeah.
there's like weekly content and things like that. It's the people that want to do that. People like me, I don't want to do that. I'm done after the raid and subsequent like extra week or two of raid content. I'm done because the season content for me it could be good, but it's not enough for me to like keep coming back to it. Um, with everything else. But there are people that like stick with it. But there's also the people that are kind of like you where they go with Destiny, DLC drops, they play it for like a month, raid is out, so they play the raid the first couple weeks, and then they're done. And then the next DLC comes out, and they do the same thing. Destiny actually does a pretty good job of like, okay, new DLC comes out, everybody gets to the same light level, no matter what. Because they know that there are some people that will have only played for like a month and a half after the past DLC, and like, well, we want to make sure that when they come back, they're at least on equal
Yeah.
terms to other
They don't
people
have to they don't have
on
to
light.
grind
Right,
before the next thing comes out to
right.
be able to play. They want people as soon as the expansion comes out, they can just buy the expansion, play the expansion, and then go away again.
Right. So
Like
that's the smart thing to do. So this is where Platinum needs to figure all that out, and Platinum hasn't done that before. So that's that's the hard part. Is like,
they've they've made exclusively single player games, and as far as I know, none of them have had any significant even DLC in them. They're just
right.
like they released the game, maybe they released a few patches post release to like fix some shit, and that's kind of it. Like
So that's the hard part. There's like a delicate balance of like 5 different like blocks into the foundation, and the reason why games like League and Fortnite and then Destiny work is because they've kind of figured out most of those pillars really well.
and all three of those games, by the way, are free to play. At
The
least the
fr-
base content is. Destiny wasn't at launch, but it is now.
Destiny
Um,
is free to play, and then you have to pay until you want to do anything else.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like the most bare free to play
free
you
to
could
try. It's
it's free to
almost just
try.
like a demo. It's almost a
Correct.
demo for
Correct.
Destiny. Let's be honest, but
It
yeah,
is. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
it's a demo. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Destiny is free to try. League is free to play. Fortnite's free to play. Warzone's free to play. You know, there are some live service games that charge though. But like MMOs, some MMOs do a subscription, others do
those are
something different.
subscription.
Yeah,
Those are different though.
yeah, there's a little different. But anyway,
I
let's
like I
yeah,
feel like Platinum could pull it off. I feel like they have the chops to make a game that is fun enough to be a game that people want to keep coming back to and grind, but it's just a little scary, you know. And Babylon's Fall, which is going to be their first go at it, is like there's no hype around that game right now. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants it.
it's
Like the
coming out in a
trailer,
month too.
I know the trailers at E3 just didn't look good, and I think they had a test sometime a couple of months ago, and I did not hear good things about that, and it's just, uh, yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, if that I mean,
I feel like that game's gonna flop really hard.
it
Like,
could. It's a month, right? It's coming out next month or the
I
end of
think
this month.
I feel like it was in February, but maybe it's in March, but it's pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard nothing about that game. Every time you mention it, I feel like it's a new game. I'm like, Babylon, what? It's there's just nothing there. It's also tragically coming out near the time when Elden Ring is coming out. And Elden Ring's gonna
Yeah.
trounce any other game that comes out in the next month.
March 3rd. Yeah, March 3rd. So it comes
Yeah.
out a week after. It comes out a week after Elden Ring,
Horrible,
basically. So,
horrible,
yeah.
like horrible not doing any market research and trying to figure out when Elden Ring's coming out. Like that's gonna devastate that game. Like a week after, you said?
Yeah, March
No,
3rd.
that's too soon. GG. Game's
Yeah.
not gonna work.
And for me, I mean, I'm not playing Elden Ring. I know most people will be, but like Triangle Strategy is coming out that week, and I'm
There
excited for that game
there's
too.
there's too many other good quality things coming out at the same time. And again, Elden Ring is coming out. Like anything that comes out near the time of Elden Ring is probably not going to work out unless it's a massive title already. Like it already has a big fan base surrounding it.
Yep.
Like Horizon Zero Dawn kind of thing. Forbidden West is what.
Yeah.
That's coming out soon. That will have a chance because it's big name.
Yeah,
But
that's coming out next week, I think.
Babylon's Fall. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, Babylon's Fall is now Square Enix's second go at the live service thing, and I feel like it's gonna flop again.
No. Oh yeah, because Outriders was not supposed to be.
It wasn't a live. That game wasn't a live service.
live
That
service.
game should have been a live service, but it wasn't.
Yeah, inexplicably, that should have been a live service, and they should have kept that going.
That was one of those games where like it came out, people actually liked it
Yeah.
when it came out. Like people thought the game was fun, and
Yep.
there was some like post game content to be done.
Yep.
And then like that game just went quiet and they did not. That's one of those games. That's the situation. Like I was just talking about. It's like, hey, they made a good, solid game with like mechanics. It had gear mechanics like you could do in a live service. People liked it. At that point, Square Enix should have been like, okay, I know we didn't plan this to be a live service, but we're turning this into a live service now because people like
Yeah,
this. Like, we need to keep supporting this.
yeah, it's tough because on one hand, they said it's not going to be live service, so they never planned for additional content after the release. And then let's say it releases and a month later, you get your data together and you're like, oh, this was great. Let's do a live service on it now. Now you have to start making content. You're already late to making your content.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the tough part too, is like, okay, well, I don't know. There's some kind of delicate balance that needs to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. We got some Microsoft stuff. First Microsoft thing is Microsoft confirms Blizzard, Activision Blizzard games will be on PlayStation beyond existing agreements. They're just gonna let these games be multi-platform, which is great for pretty much I think everybody.
And
That is
Microsoft will rake in the profits, so
Yep.
that's fine with them.
Yeah, there's some other stuff that I want to confirm on next week. I want to talk about with Microsoft. Only got a little bit of information regarding like some of their plans to deal with like their shop, but I need to do more research. But Microsoft's doing some interesting things with their game store. There's like some stuff in the background that they're trying to do because there was like this no, I don't know if it was like an interview specifically one-on-one, but they were talking to some of the people in not Phil Spencer but other people in the division, and they're talking about the game store and what they expected to be the future of their game store. And it seems like they want to kind of like try and open things up to broader like groups, like get more developer friendly, like revenue sharing agreements, things like that. Like try and get their stuff on more platforms, I think was their thought. So yeah, Microsoft I think at this point is like kind of given up specifically console exclusivity to try and get Game Pass exclusivity, if that makes sense. But it's great. It's and they want to bring games to Nintendo. They said that too. They're like, we want to get games to Nintendo. We want to get some of these games to Nintendo.
They know how popular the Switch. They know how popular the Switch is.
Yes,
so.
And it only makes them look good doing this. That's the thing. It only makes you look good doing it.
Yep. Where it makes Sony the bad guy when they're like, "Hey, we have all our exclusives. Come buy PlayStation."
Yeah, I mean, like,
fuck off.
They definitely don't seem as friendly to the broader audiences, but you know, Sony gets away with that for like Nintendo does because the games are just so great, so they just get away with it. But Microsoft never really has been able to get away with it because the games just haven't been there. So
yeah,
at this point they're like, okay, we tried, we're giving up. Let's just put this out. Let's just put our influence everywhere, and it'll all work out, and we'll be the good guys. It's the right strategy. It's a good strategy. The other thing I was going to mention was Halo Infinite's player base is dropping. Obviously that I think that was natural, but like the player retention is dropping significantly. I couldn't tell you the exact Steam chart numbers, but it's like hovering 10K on Steam charts is what I think it is. Now, I'm sure there's like a part of me that thinks, okay, well, Steam probably might not be as much of the major audience of Halo Infinite, but it's
well, there's a Game Pass crowd, I guess.
Correct. Yeah. It's indicative of something. Over the last 3 months, when the game released, it hit 250K peak players, and then in December it hit about 147 early December. We get to January 1st is now at 56,000. Today it's at 12,000. That is that graph doesn't look great. The graph don't look great.
I mean, the problem is with Halo is like they're still fixing some things, they're still making some adjustments. And the other big one is, I think, for the people who played it relatively consistently for those couple of months, they completed the battle pass. There's no progression left.
Yep.
like you can't earn anything anymore from playing the game. The EXP you get for doing your challenges does nothing for you except for the I guess there's the weekly challenge that you could go for every week if you clear all your challenges and
Sure.
stuff like that. But the EXP you get for playing the games and completing your challenges literally does nothing for you if you complete the battle pass because there's like we talked about, there's no account level
Correct.
that EXP. It just goes to the battle pass and
Right.
that's it. And by the way, there's 3 more months of this. Like I feel like it would be okay if the seasons are supposed to be 3 months,
Yep.
except this first one is 6 months. If the season was 3 months, we would have started a new season, like probably like this week or maybe last week they would have started a new season because it's been about 3 months
Yeah.
since Halo multiplayer came out, and then they'd probably have gotten a surge. But there's still 3 more months of this season to go, and people have completed the progression. So there's unless you want to just grind ranked,
Yeah.
there's really no point in
Yep.
playing. Like
Mo
there's nothing to be earned.
yeah, I stopped playing like last month. Um and I'm like over level 60 in the battle pass. I could start again now and finish it easily. Like
Yeah,
it's
I didn't play that much except for I played a lot the first like week or two, but that was before they made the battle pass actually good, or the challenges, I mean, made them a lot better and easier to complete. I'm in the 40s, I think. I think I'm around 45.
yeah,
Ghost was like level 80, like 80 something, and he stopped playing as well. But like,
he could easily
yeah,
finish it before the
yeah,
next season.
he
Like that's the
if
thing.
he played for like one more week or two a decent bit, he'd just clear it and then be
Yeah.
done. Like, oh, 92, yeah, okay, he's even higher than I thought. So yeah, he can play if he went in and played like one more week at some point, he would just clear the battle
Yeah.
pass and he would be done.
I'll
Like,
probably like at some point I'll pick it up again and I'll finish it. But I think the season lasted too long, and I also think that they are putting out so many fires they can't do anything else.
yeah.
Is
And
also another issue.
again, there's just like there's no reason in playing unless you really love the gameplay, which I mean,
It's
the
good.
gameplay in Halo is really good,
Yeah, it's good.
but like one of the things about live services is you're constantly progressing towards something or earning something, whether it be like just like currency for the shop so that you can maybe get that cosmetic you want, or battle pass things or whatever it is. Like in most live services, you're constantly progressing. And if you're not, it's probably close to like the end of a season and there's going to be a new thing pretty
Yeah.
soon.
I yeah.
Again, Halo right now, it's just dead. Anybody who's played the game relatively consistently over the past 3 months is probably done with the battle pass or pretty darn close to being done with the
Yeah.
battle pass. And
Yeah.
there's still 3 months left in the season. So
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest problem, to be quite honest.
No, I agree with you. Season's too long. I agree. I can't disagree with anything you're saying. Um, and the retention, it's only going to keep going down. So there might be a point where Halo Infinite gets like under 10K, and they like 343's got to do something. I I'm not too worried about Halo when they actually get more seasons and things like that. But
I'm sure it'll spike again when the next
yeah,
season starts. But
but at the same time, like they had this really good opportunity because all the other shooters were in decline. Like almost every other shooter is in decline. So this was kind of the opportunity, and 343 is really trying. They're going to try real hard to squander it. They just can't at this point. They can't screw this up. Like, this is too good of a thing to pass up. So I hope it works out. Halo was really fun. I enjoyed it. I do think that they need big team battle. I think got fixed, which I mean, like we don't necessarily play it a lot, but I think it's great. But I think it's great that it got fixed. Because there are people that like it. I
yeah, I don't like it
I
personally, but
know,
I know a
yeah,
lot
I
of
know.
people do. So
But there are people that do.
I know you enjoy it sometimes. I don't
It,
personally like big
it
team battle, but that's me.
it can be kind of relaxing once in a while. Just be like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Like I don't have to think. I just run around. Whatever. Who cares? But like there were a lot of people that wanted to jump in on that, and Big Team Battle hadn't worked for over a month, so very
Yeah,
frustrating for those
that's
players.
pretty bad.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Anything else before we move forward?
No, yeah, I just hope I know they're making some adjustments to the shop. I just hope I feel like they just need to either have more events or they just need to, I don't necessarily release a second battle pass, release something where people can actually like gain XP and earn some rewards, whether it be, again, just some currency or challenge swaps or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, give them something
Yeah.
to earn because I think that's the biggest problem. There's just nothing to be earned for playing the game right now.
I agree.
There's no.
You have to pay. You do have to pay to earn significant rewards, which I don't think that should be the case. I think some free to play should get something that isn't just a challenge swap or a color palette change. I'm with you there. I agree. Okay. I liked Wolf Among Us. I might be the only one in the room, but I liked this game, and the second one's coming out in 2023. I just want to say, cool. The game was pretty good. I enjoyed it, and I'm happy that you're long after the first one came out, there's a sequel. By the way, like I'm pretty sure this game is on Game Pass for people who have Game Pass. I think Wolf Among Us is on Game Pass right now, the first one. So it's interesting. It's an interesting story. So I know you haven't played it, but that was
No,
my
I haven't
moment
played it.
to say I'm happy that there's a sequel coming out. It was a fun little thing, and it had a cool universe. Okay.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Wolf Among Us. I've not played it though.
It's a cool universe to have like fairy tale creatures in like a real world, like present day setting, and be like, it's the big bad wolf is in New York City, or like the Three Little Pigs and all this stuff in like New York City. Like it's just like it's like a cool concept. So more of it, I think, would be really fun. Okay. If you didn't go through this article, Spoon, I will summarize some of the stuff that I had through the Steam Deck. So it says Steam Deck wows reviewers, the most innovative gaming PC in 20 years. Okay. Let me just highlight some things. Not everything, but I'm going to highlight a few things that I saw. Number one, game performance is something to think about. If you are trying to play something that is pretty intensive on performance, there's a lot of shit going on, your FPS may drop to 30 frames per second. They gave an example of Control, which you can see on this Steam Deck right here. Control ran at like 30 frames per second. And the recommendation is you turn on VSync and some other things because if you don't put VSync and cap frame rates on, beyond what I just said, battery will die very fast. You will drain that battery. Somebody said that AAA games got as little as 90 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah, I've
With
heard
a
like 90.
3-hour recharge time. So if you have to like turn on VSync, cap the frame rate. If you're playing like a game that doesn't require as much, you'll hit 60, possibly 90, they said. But this is like 90 minutes is a really bad battery life. So maybe don't play powerful games that have high system requirements on this system.
Yeah.
Is what I'm gonna say. And then
I mean,
oh, go ahead.
that's not surprising. The Switch doesn't even have that. The Switch lasts like 3 to 4 hours. Like
Yep.
it really doesn't have good. It really doesn't have good battery life.
Right.
And this is obviously much more powerful than the Switch and runs much more intensive games than the Switch does.
Yeah.
So
Um. Apparently, you could see an average of three to, they said 8 hours of battery life, but I doubt the 8 hours part. 3 to 5 seems more reasonable if you're not playing something that is like has high system requirements. They were talking about also like the actual system, like how does it to hold all the the buttons and the placement of buttons. My biggest issue with the Switch actually is like sometimes holding the Switch for a long time is like really uncomfortable for me,
yeah, I
like
agree.
just the thing.
I agree.
So that's a big deal for this. And apparently there's also not like the vibration isn't there. There's like
Oh
when
yeah,
you have like
haptic,
controllers.
no haptic feedback.
Yeah, there's no haptic feedback. Thank you. Or maybe there is, but it's like I saw somewhere that there is. Here we go. Um, with console gamers, while console gamers and people who use controller on PC have more or less come to expect vibration as a subtle way to enhance immersion, Valve couldn't find space or power, so leaving only the comparably weak haptic feedback of the touchpads. So these things right up here that I'm going to be pointing at, there's really only that there. Um, I'm actually okay with it personally. Like I play on controller. I've never actually been like a huge fan of the vibrating features on these controllers. I'm glad that it doesn't have it on this.
I always
I
I
would be
always
so
have
annoyed.
I don't know. I always have vibration turned on, but I just feel like I don't notice it anymore. Like maybe if it wasn't there, I would, but I don't know.
I notice it when I put it down on my desk.
Well,
And
yeah,
it just
that's annoying. Yeah, sometimes it's like way too intense. Like you're
yeah,
like, okay, chill out, bro.
that's what I notice. I'm just like, oh my god, and it freaks out. Um, but this thing is coming out in 3 weeks, or it's
Yep.
going to start shipping out in 3 weeks. I'm personally still excited for this. I think this is going to be great. I think this is going to be
Yeah,
awesome. So I'm excited. And
yeah. I think it's a real good thing to play, as we've talked about before, like kind of
yeah,
chill games on the Steam Deck.
yeah, I there are definitely like I could look through my library and I could easily find like 3 or 4 games that I wouldn't normally play while I'm on my computer here, but like I could find a few that I would love to play while on the go when I'm traveling, like on the plane, at the hotel. You know, that's like the awesome part of this. I think this is going to be great. So, I'm excited. And hopefully it is more along the lines of 3 to 5 hours of battery life and not 90 minutes. That would be really disappointing for me.
I mean, yeah, again, I think the 90 minutes is like the floor where, again,
Yeah.
if you're playing something super intensive on maybe higher settings, even that you're gonna drain that thing pretty quick.
Yeah. Um okay. Any other thoughts with Steam Deck?
Nope.
Okay. I found this right before the podcast started. Apparently in like a call with COD partners, and I hopefully I'll be able to confirm this next week. I'll call this a leak. But they're calling it confirmed. I'm gonna call it a leak for now. Um, there's gonna be a Warzone 2, and it's coming out with Modern Warfare 2. And God help me, this is making me so angry. I really want them to change the name of this. Modern Warfare 2. Please don't call it that.
We already
We
have Modern Warfare 2.
we had a Modern Warfare 1. I was fine with them calling the new one Modern Warfare. Please do not call the newest one Modern Warfare 2. I'm just gonna get so confused. I'm gonna get Modern Warfare 2. Which one?
Well, Modern Warfare 2 2.
Modern Warfare 2 Part 2. I um I'm not surprised it's gonna be another Warzone. I I don't know how it's gonna work with Warzone 1 to 2, where it's like, can you bring some stuff over from Warzone 1? Or is it like you are basically hitting the reset button? That would kind of suck. Pretty sure there's stuff you can buy in Warzone, so be kind of tragic. Hopefully it's one of those things where you can like carry over some of your stuff. That'd be cool. But um there's a lot of people that like Warzone. I'm not even gonna argue against that. So if that's the case where it's coming out with Modern Warfare 2, cool. Um I'm hoping that all of your progression and skins and stuff carry over. Otherwise I think that would be really a really big downer. I wouldn't be surprised though from Activision. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised. But yeah, we're not necessarily Warzone people, but I saw this right before the podcast, and Warzone's a big game. So.
Yep. It's one of the big battle royales, so you know.
Yep. Okay, that was it. That was our news. Now we can talk about Nintendo Direct. Um, Nintendo Direct was yesterday. They announced it the day before because Nintendo is really good at announcing things, and they've
I mean, they always do that. If you're expecting more than 24 hours notice for a Nintendo Direct, you haven't been paying attention the
I
last
and
few
it
years.
annoys me. It does annoy me that this is the case. Um, they just love to do it though. So There was a lot in this direct. I don't think either of us can argue against that. There was a lot. I'm gonna just start from the bottom of this page because there's some stuff at the bottom. We can go from the bottom to the top. I
Yeah.
think that
I'm
is
just
what I'm
gonna
gonna do.
I'm just gonna say this before we talk about this in like more detail, but this direct was, with the exception of a small part in the middle where I was getting kind of salty, this direct was a banger. Like they were just like all throughout it. I feel like they were announcing things that they had a stacked lineup, stuff for pretty much everybody. Unless you're a Breath of the Wild fan, they didn't show that.
They didn't show Breath of the Wild. I think Fire Emblem.
Yeah, we
Some
got
people
Warriors,
like
but
Warriors. Yeah,
we didn't get mainline. So,
right. Um, this was a
but yeah,
pretty heavy JRPG. There's some JRPG
yeah,
influence in this.
there was a lot of JRPG, which is maybe why I liked it so much, which makes sense. But I still think there was a lot for a lot of different audiences in this direct for sure. It
Yep.
was that they kind of hit on a lot, and they've got a banging lineup for 2022. It looks like. So yeah, this, like, at least this for me, this was the best direct in quite a while. E3 last year was pretty good, but this was the best direct in a while, in my opinion.
There was some good stuff in here. This direct was really like I think it was just generally good. I agree with you. Um, there were a lot of non first party games announced. Things like, Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection, uh, Kingdom Hearts Integrum Masterpiece. What is Integrum? What is that? What is Integrum? Can anybody define what Integrum means? What does that mean?
I think it's a made up word, to be honest.
Okay, I'm gonna type that in. Integrum. What does that mean? I want to know. This is making me angry. Stop making up words. This pisses me off. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of Square Enix and all these things just like making up words to put into their games like this. Like Kingdom Hearts Integrum Masterpiece. What the frick is an Integrum? It bothers the crap out of me.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
really annoying for me. I'm
it
the only one that's annoyed, but it's really annoying that they're just
uh,
making shit up.
the cloud versions of Kingdom Hearts are definitely not a masterpiece, by the way. It's dog shit
No, they're
right
shit,
now.
but like can you just like use a word that people know exists in a dictionary, please? I just get so annoyed with it. Like
Hmm.
I okay. Anyway, Kingdom Hearts Integrum Masterpiece for Cloud, which I'm sure will be fantastic and everybody will love. Um,
Yeah, no, it's shit from everything I've heard.
there was a rhythm game,
The
Taiko no
drum game.
Tatsujin
Yeah,
rhythm
people want
game.
them to bring back the Donkey Konga, the bongos
Oh god.
for that game. Yeah.
Yeah. There was also Klonoa. Klonoa has this niche community that really likes this game.
Yeah, I heard a couple people pretty hype about this one.
Klonoa has this community, and apparently this was like a big deal for a select group of folks. Okay,
Mhm.
this is a I don't want to. I don't, maybe I'll call it a cult game, cult classic kind of game.
Cult classic,
Yeah,
yeah.
cult classic kind of game. But this was a big deal for some folks. So some folks are really happy with this direct because of Klonoa. I want to make that clear. No Man's Sky to Switch. Also cool. Also cool that No Man's Sky is coming to Switch. No Man's Sky has at this point, I think, a decent sized community. They do a great job. We had Disney Speedstorm Racing, with Disney and Pixar characters. I know we're not necessarily big racing folks, but I'm seeing Mickey Mouse over here really pissed off trying to kill some people, and I'm a little bit freaked out by that. It's a little weird that I'm seeing Mickey Mouse trying to kill some folks.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what this is all of a sudden, that these all these companies are trying to jump on the kart racing thing. Like, I don't I don't quite get it right now, but whatever. I
I
guess it's a fad right now, because Square Enix they announced a Square Enix one, a Final Fantasy kart racer. Like, I feel like it was the last direct, wasn't it?
something
Like,
like
I don't
that.
know.
I don't. It's like guys, just stop. I know you're trying, but it's weird seeing Mickey Mouse and freaking Sully from Monsters
And
Inc.
Mulan,
driving
and Mulan,
cars
yeah.
and Mulan and seeing exploding cars. It's a little weird. Star Wars Force Unleashed. Why? Why
Yeah.
is this being released on the Switch? It is, but why? And it's the
I,
port of
I
the Wii version.
I
So
feel like they're just porting like everything to the Switch, right? Like any game that any company wants to port to the Switch, they're like, yeah, we just port some old ass game to the Switch because whatever. Like I don't know.
I it's just like weird. When I saw that, I was like, why? But why? This game is really dated. Um. Okay, MLB The Show coming to Switch. MLB The Show 22 is now on the Switch. I know you were
Mhm.
hyped about that.
I mean, if I play it, it won't be on the Switch. That's for sure.
Um, Portal is coming to the Switch. Actually, I think that's great for the Switch. I
Yeah,
think
that
Portal would
one's
be great
cool.
for the Switch.
Yeah,
Um, Live Alive. I don't know what this is, but there are apparently people that know of this, and it's like also a cool thing. I don't know anything about this, but there
yeah.
definitely were people talking about it.
I don't know anything about this game. Apparently, it's a game that has never been released in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Cult classic RPG. And it looked like the trailer for this actually had me interested. That game, it looked pretty cool. Like
Mm.
it used the HD 2D system, like kind of like Octopath.
Yep.
The art was really cool. It had an interesting concept where you're playing as like I don't know, it was like 6 or 7 different characters, all in different time frames. And I'm sure the story will be connected in some way at the end. But
Yeah. I,
um,
I yeah. I know nothing about it, but like there are people talking about it. That's why I said
yeah,
JRPG fans are. I'm sure we're
yeah,
super happy with this direct.
we were eating pretty good yesterday. JRPGs.
You know who wasn't eating good? Me. King of Dragons 2 wasn't announced. I'm still upset about that.
Yeah, I
Um,
know.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot. We knew this existed. It got delayed. Launches April 8th. They mentioned this here. Cool. I mean, it was supposed to come out 2 months ago, but it'll be coming out 2 months from now.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I like the art style they're doing with it. I think the COs and like the animations all look really cool. It looks like a really good update to a 20-year-old game at this point, basically. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm I loved Advance Wars back in the day, so I'm excited to check it out and see what they've done with it.
Hmm. Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings added to Switch Online, and today being yesterday. Um, so for fans of Earthbound, the that series, the I guess the Mother series,
Mother series,
yeah,
yeah.
that'll be coming to Switch, and it was there yesterday. So apparently it wasn't there already, so pretty cool. Okay, can we can we talk about the star of the event? I'm sorry, it wasn't Xenoblade. I'm sorry, it wasn't Xenoblade. We can't say it was Xenoblade. It was Kirby
Well,
full mouth mode.
for some people it was
No,
Xenoblade, but I will give you mouthful mode for Kirby was like
full
I audibly chuckled when I saw Car Kirby for the first time. It was really funny.
mouthful mode stole the show. It stole
Though
the show.
mouthful mode is kind of a monk-ass name, but we
It
won't go
is,
there.
but it stole the show. It's the talk of the town. I'm sorry, Xenoblade fans, but this is the talk of the town. It's not Xenoblade. It is mouthful mode and seeing all the different things that people have done with it. The number of images I've seen today of the jokes with this are great. They're great. So Kirby's upcoming game, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. Honestly, they should just call it Kirby and the Mario Odyssey Lands.
Yeah,
Um,
Kirby. They should just call it Kirby Odyssey.
they just call it Kirby Odyssey because it looks very similar. It comes out March 25th, so coming soon. I think this is going to be the star. There's going to be a star of the year for the Switch. This is going to be the star of the year. I think. it's going to be just crazy, and with mouthful mode, there's just going to be some crazy things that we're going to see. I'm super excited for this one. This looks so good. It looks so fun. It's got like it looks and feels like Mario Odyssey. It's a great game. We both know that.
Yeah.
If it plays anything like that, I'm in.
No,
Immediately in.
Nintendo is like, man, people loved Zelda Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey. We should just do that with Kirby too. That sounds great.
Just do
Like,
that. It's not a bad idea either. Like it works for Kirby. It works. And it's cool. Like mouthful mode is freaking hilarious. So I'm in. I'm in on this. 100% I'm in. This looks unbelievably fun.
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I'm not, to be honest, a huge Kirby fan. I haven't played a Kirby game in a very long time. Um, Even though some of the ones on, ones on like Wii U and stuff, like Epic Yarn, I heard were actually pretty good. But um, no, this game, I don't know if I'll get it on release, but I'm interested in this game. It looks really fun actually. And I love Mario. I love Mario Odyssey.
I'm
And yeah,
yeah.
mouthful mode was like it was hilarious. Car Kirby cracked me up when I saw it for the first
It
time. I
was
was
it
like,
was amazing.
what the hell is that?
It was amazing. I'm getting this on release. There's no debate. That sold me. That already sold me. That was everything I've seen has sold me on this game. It's fantastic. This I'm sorry. I think mouthful mode stole the show. That is. I don't think we can. I'll debate anybody on that. That stole the show. Metroid
And
Dread free update for adding a Dread mode and Rookie mode. Dread mode being a one hit death
one
mode, I
one
guess.
one hit kill mode. You can get energy tanks, but it don't matter. You're just gonna die
You just die
anyways.
anyway. So it's like, okay, well, who cares? And then a Rookie mode. And then also a free boss rush mode. I mean, it's free, so
Yeah.
whatever.
No one's gonna complain about free DLC for games that people like. Again, I we've talked about it. I like Metroid Dread. I think it was good. I didn't like it as much as a lot of people did, and I will never play Dread mode. That sounds awful, but I'm sure people who loved that game and want to keep replaying it and want the extra challenge, sure, go for it. It's a
Yeah,
good idea. Never gonna complain about free DLC
yeah,
with more modes and more content being added to games. It's cool.
yeah. No,
Like,
I'm with you. Like, it's free. Like, you don't have to use it. It does whatever. Splatoon new salmon run mode. I don't know how to feel about this. I was kind of just like, okay, like,
I mean,
eh, okay.
I'm sure people are excited for Splatoon. I have not played Splatoon. I've heard it's pretty fun, but you know, I'm sure people are excited for this. People who are Splatoon fans. So
Yeah, no, I'm 100% sure too. Um, Front Mission and Front Mission 2. I don't know anything about this, but what is Front Mission and Front Mission 2? It's like a mech game. Like I'm
yeah, there. I mean,
mech
I feel like
strategy.
I've heard the name before, but I didn't really know what it was. Like when they said Front Mission, I was like, I feel like I've heard of that before, but I don't know why. I
Mm,
didn't know really. But yeah, apparently it looks like it's a mech. It's a mech like turn-based RPG, strategy RPG,
sure,
like top down, like it's like Fire Emblem or Final Fantasy Tactics, but with mechs. So
that's crazy. You're probably interested in that. I would imagine.
um, I mean, maybe it looks, yeah, it looks pretty cool. I don't know. The mechs that they have in like this game, I don't know. This type of mech like doesn't do it for me as much as like Gundams do. To be honest, like I don't know
Mm,
why.
hmm. Okay, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's a strategy game. If you like strategy games, like Fire Emblem things like that, this could be up your alley. I I think it's cool.
Hmm.
Um, Triangle Strategy. There's a free demo for it. This is like the Final Fantasy Tactics kind of game, right?
Yep, from the
Um,
creators of Octopath.
from the creators of Octopath. I mean, there's a demo available like right now. You can try out chapters 1 through 3, which is crazy. 3 chapters. And then you
I
can if you get the game, save data transfers, which is what they did with Octopath.
Yep, which is what they did with Octopath. I do want to talk about this for a bit, actually, because I actually did download and play. I actually didn't complete the demo. I did 2 of the 3 chapters last night.
Okay.
Um, this is not a fast-paced game. It took me 3 hours to clear those 2 chapters. It took me 3 hours.
That's like a single mission, right? It's like a single mission.
2
Yeah, 2
battles.
battles. Yeah.
Generally, I think there will be 1 battle per chapter. So it was 2 chapters, 1 battle per chapter,
Okay.
and then
Took 3
a
hours.
lot of cutscenes and dialogue.
Oh my.
A lot.
Oh boy.
So yeah, this is not going to be a fast-paced game. Um, I'm just putting that out as a warning. I like it. I think the characters are cool. I think the world's pretty interesting. It's a
Mm.
little simple, but it's interesting. I think the characters are cool and interesting. There's definitely a lot of possible political intrigue going on here, and their morality system with the choices and um, the potential you have for split routes. And I can honestly see in this game some of your party members, if you go stray too far, like away from their morality, maybe you'll just lose some party members at some point. They'll just be like, yeah, I can't be with you anymore after the choices you made or whatever. I can see that kind of thing as well.
I
Um,
I think that yeah, I think seeing party members leave would be interesting. I think if you make enough choices that's against like a certain party member's, you know, a code, then yeah,
yeah,
they should leave. Like that's perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine with that kind of stuff. You can't be like a bloodthirsty murderer and expect the lawful good people to be like, eh, okay. You can't
yeah.
expect that.
And
So I'm okay with it.
the interesting thing is like the 3 pillars in this game of the like their choices system. They're kind of like it's different, right?
Mhm.
They're not. It's not like Mass Effect where it's like Paragon, Renegade, Neutral,
Right,
or
sure.
something like that. The 3 pillars are morality, utility, and the third one I think is liberty.
Yes.
So the choices are interesting. Again, utility is like we are going to do what suits us best for this situation,
Yep.
right? Like so if we have to burn down the city to win the battle, we'll burn down the city to win the battle because that's what's going to serve us best. Like that is the best tactic that we have in this situation.
Sure.
Like, but
Sure.
obviously you're burning down a fucking city, so that's not really the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Morality is it's morality. It's doing the right. It's like what is the right thing to do in this situation. It may not be the best option. It may make our situation more difficult. It may make the battle more difficult because we're doing the right thing instead of burning down the city,
Yeah.
but you're doing the right thing.
Right.
Um and then liberty is, I mean, it's interesting. It's like, I don't know, doing the thing that's best for other people or people's freedom, I guess. I'm not exactly sure on that pillar, to be quite honest, but
Okay.
like
Well, there's the three morality choices. In that specific scenario, like yeah, those choices could be construed not specifically as Paragon Renegade, but like one option appears to be better than the other from the perspective of like, okay, if I'm burning down a village, probably not a good thing.
yeah.
Probably not. There's some context that'll be there to kind of clear that up, but like probably a more renegade choice. So, but
Yep.
it's not like framed that like Paragon and Renegade was always like Paragon's always the nice guy, Renegade's always the bad guy. Like there might be cases where utility is the good guy choice. Maybe there's a case where it's a bad guy choice, kind of thing. Like
I
that's
mean,
so much better.
mo- morality is kind of always going to be the good guy choice because morality is doing the right thing. Like that is like the definition of
Yeah, which
morality. But
it's fine, but like having at least
but
liberty and utility being like somewhat in between would be interesting.
yeah. But again, like morality is like it could be doing the right thing, but I think a lot of the time it's going to be like it's just going to make your situation a lot more difficult
Yeah,
because it's like, yeah, we could do the right thing, but maybe we're screwing ourselves over by
right.
doing this or something like
Yeah,
that. Like,
it depends on context. All depends on
yeah,
context. So
it really does.
we'll see. I mean, Paragon and Renegade never really depended on context because it was always one way or
No,
the other. But
Yeah, if you were Paragon, you were being a nice guy. If you were
right,
Renegade, you were just being
you're
a
being an
dick.
ass. You're being an
You were
ass.
always like the good guy. You were always, saving the world or doing the mission. It was just the way you
It's just the
went
way you did
about
it.
it,
Yeah,
right? It was
it's just
like
the way you did it.
Renegade is like, hey, I'm not agreeing with this guy. Just let me punch him in the face. It's like, hey, fuck you, shut the hell up.
You know,
Like,
which isn't bad. It's just like a little less interesting than something like something where it's not specifically like good and bad. It's like there's three different choices. Depending on context, those choices will be like maybe somewhat more appealing than the others, depending on your situation.
yeah,
That's more interesting. Paragon and Renegade was not all the way there. It was a good concept, but not all the way there.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I think this game. I mean, I think this game has the potential to be really good and has the potential to be like I want to say like a sleeper hit, but like I'll just say a sleeper hit of this year, kind of like Octopath was. I know people like know it a little more because it's the
yeah,
Octopath dev and it's not their first go at it, but it's not like this is an Octopath 2. They're not just like remaking Octopath. Like it's the same art style, but
it's a different. It's just a different game. It is a
different.
completely different game.
Yeah, it's a completely different game. Like this, there's nothing like this choice system in Octopath, and also Octopath was a turn-based RPG. This is a tactic. This is a tactics game. So
Yeah, it's just different. It's just different. But
yeah. Oh, and the other thing I'll say about the demo, they have made some adjustments to the combat that I think I like. I'm not sure if mages are good yet. I know we talked about this
yeah,
with the
mages suck.
original
Mages suck.
demo, but so they still have some of the similar issues. The range isn't very good on their spells, and they don't have like a ranged basic attack. But they've changed it so that I believe in the demo you started with zero of.
Oh,
Am I getting
yeah,
Spectrum?
you got cut there. You started with zero of what?
Zero of the resource, which is called TP in this game,
Yep.
and you gained one every turn. And the spells cost two to cast.
Okay.
In this demo, it's similar, but you start with three and you gain one every turn. So
Oh.
you can cast a spell. You can technically the first two turns if you want to cast a spell with your mage, and then you'll be out.
Okay.
Or you'll have one on your third turn, but you won't have enough to cast a spell. You start with three and you gain one every turn. So I think they made mages slightly more useful in that respect. We'll see. Maybe their later game spells are better. One thing I also did notice, and I tried this out in the new demo, at least the basic spell that you get with the fire mage, it does not do friendly fire.
Okay.
So it hits that cross-shaped AoE, but if you had a like one of your allies that was completely surrounded by enemies and you targeted your ally, it wouldn't hit your ally, it would just hit your four enemies that are around him.
Okay.
So I don't know.
They're better than before. That's
Yeah,
all. That's all I'm getting.
it's definitely better than before on mages. I like the adjustment they made it. There's also, there's four difficulties to select from. There is there's very easy, normal, and hard. So for people who maybe don't particularly like strategy games or aren't good at strategy games, you can pick one of the easier difficulties. And for people who are masochists, you can pick hard. Um, Normal seems perfectly fine though, from what we've seen. But again, I've only done the first two battles; they're not very difficult.
Yeah, I mean it's the
Um,
first two.
it's early in the game, so yeah, I think the game's really cool, but again, I would just caution that this is not going to be a fast-paced game. There are going to be a lot of cutscenes and not as much gameplay, I think. So again, it took me 3 hours to get through two chapters, and it was
Yeah.
about that in the last demo as well. It took about I think the last demo was two chapters, and it took me about 3 hours to get through it.
Yeah, no,
So
it's not something you can beat in a weekend. You're not beating that thing in a weekend unless you're not sleeping, in which case you might.
yeah. But yeah, this game definitely has a lot of potential for replay value as well with the choices, the branching paths, and there looks to be like you can't really see where it goes because it only shows what you've seen so far, but there appears to be like a flowchart type thing that is like in the menus of this
Okay.
game.
So you
You can
okay.
only I've only done the first two chapters, so you can only see chapter 1 and 2 and you don't see any branches any further than that. So
Yep.
you don't know where it goes, but it looks like it will become a flowchart at some point. But all it shows is like two diamonds, 1 and 2 and a line connecting them. But it
Okay.
looks like that will eventually become a flowchart once you get further down the line. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That makes sense. If you want people to play it more than once, makes sense. You do something like that. Um, okay.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say because I didn't play the demo, so I have
Yeah.
nothing to say.
No, I know. I'm excited for this game. People should check out the demo if you're interested.
Okay. And it's free, so
Yep. Free to download and yeah.
and the
First
progress
three
carries over, which is great. Like
Yep.
I love
First
that.
three chapters of the game. Progress carries over if you want to do that, or obviously if like, you play it at this point like me, this game comes out in about 3 weeks, so I may want to just replay the first three chapters again when the game comes out. But
Okay.
the option's there if you
Yeah,
want it.
it's available. Okay. Uh Nintendo Switch Sports,
Yep.
which was not your favorite segment.
I thought the announcement was perfectly fine, but I thought the part where they spent like 2 or 3 minutes playing a demo game between the two Nintendo executives was cringe as hell and was a waste of time.
It
But
yeah, that was not necessary. All you had to do was show the gameplay without you actually playing it. Would have been perfectly fine. Um, there's a playtest that's going to be later this month. It's not all the games; it's 3 of them. Um,
oh yeah,
it's like 3 of the. I don't know how
I
many
think it's
exactly, like 5 or
there was
6.
six. There was
Yeah.
six. Yeah, it's tennis, bowling, and I don't remember what the third one
Oh
was. Was it
God,
badminton? Was it badminton?
I don't know, but I mean, Wii Sports, because it came with a system, was super popular. But even if it didn't come with a system, I feel like people might have just gotten because it was great with the family. Like it was a great family
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I don't know how popular the sequel was. Report Wii Sports Resort, but
Yeah, I don't know either. Um, I think this is great. I like this. Um, I personally liked playing golf um a lot with family
mhm,
when I was younger. I know golf isn't coming out until the like later in the year.
summer, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
something like that. But I thought tennis was kind of cool to look at. Or not, sorry, not tennis, soccer. I thought soccer was cool. Um, Also tennis could be fun. Like I'm kind of on board with this game being something that like you could play with family, obviously, but also just something that could just be fun. Now I don't want to say online because I think the online's gonna suck. I'd hate to play like tennis online and swing, and about 3 seconds later actually swing the tennis racket.
Yeah, I mean, at
Um,
least Nintendo's making some effort. They're doing the online test they said so they can check the stability so that the online will be good, but
right.
we'll see. Like,
Yeah, I have no faith. But I thought the soccer was cool. I like golf. I think tennis is pretty, it's fine for me. So
yeah.
at least, and there's potential to add more. Um,
Yeah, and I hope they will because one complaint I've heard about this is like there's only 6 games in this and it's gonna be sixty
yeah, of
dollars.
course it is.
Like,
There's no debate. It's gonna be 60. And then golf's coming out. It feels like there could be potential to add a couple more. So
yeah. But we'll see
I'm
if
yeah.
those more are free DLC or they'll do paid DLC. They'll do like a pack of like 3 or 4 more games as like paid DLC for $20 or something like that.
Yeah. Who knows?
And put it on the expansion pass as well, so that you'll buy that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
excited for the playtest. I want to try it at the very least. I want to try
yeah,
bowling. I do like bowling too. Bowling was always like
bowling
enjoyable
was
with
good.
family. Bowling
Yeah,
was
bowling
enjoyable with
was
family
fun.
too. So I'm interested. I won't say that I'm gonna buy it, but I'm interested. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say. The the
same.
the
I agree.
the cringe section was definitely not needed, but
It was not needed.
everything else seems fine. Um, okay. Chrono Cross remaster. Chrono Cross. I'm also gonna say is a cult classic. Um,
Yep, not as loved as the original is, but there is definitely a sect of the community that loves Chrono Cross
right.
as well.
So this will
Um,
be coming on April 7th. So
mhm.
um,
This one has been rumored for a little bit as well, and
mhm.
we finally got the announcement.
So again, JRPG folks, we're eating really healthy.
We're
Um,
eating real. I don't know about healthy, but we're eating good. That's for
you're eating
sure.
great. Okay. Mario Strikers. Oh boy, finally.
Another, again, this is what I'm saying. Like this, like we're just going through this direct, and it's just like banger after banger. It's like, geez, this direct just had something for everybody. Again, you had some of the smaller stuff earlier, like some of it was exciting. You had like Klonoa that was cult classic-y that some people were excited for. You had the Force Awakens, Ezio collection, like those things, whatever. I don't think a lot of people cared about that, but then you had some of the bigger hits in this one, like you had Splatoon, which a lot of people are excited for. We had Fire. Well, we haven't gotten to Fire Emblem yet. We had Fire Emblem. We had
Kirby.
Kirby. You had Wii Sports, and you had the revival of Mario
And
Strikers. Which
thank
when,
God.
when was the last Mario Strikers game was on the freaking Wii?
Yeah.
Like that. It was like over 10 years ago. I think the
This
last Mario Strikers game came out.
and thank Christ it's here finally. We've been asking for this for way too long. Um this is going to be amazing. This is going to be so good. I'm hopeful, and it's going to have an online. It's had like some other online like club. There's like you can make a club
Yeah, you can
with
make a
people.
club,
Which
a team online.
is such a good idea. I don't know if it'll work because online for Nintendo sucks, but it's a cool idea. Like there's a lot of cool ideas, and
Well, yeah, I mean, online for Nintendo, I mean, I agree with you, it does suck, but like we played Pokemon Unite a decent bit, and like the online in that, it was fine. Like it wasn't amazing, but it was fine.
I can
Like
almost guarantee that somebody said we can't use the normal Nintendo servers. Quick,
we
buy
gotta
better
do
ones.
something else. We gotta do something else for Unite,
We
yeah,
gotta
because
use somebody else's
you
server.
literally can't play that single player. You can only play multiplayer,
Yeah,
pretty much.
we're just like we gotta use somebody else's servers. We can't do this. Um, I have a lot of high hopes for Mario Strikers though. Mario Strikers we played in college was amazing,
I,
amazing experience.
I'm not a big soccer fan, but I loved Mario Strikers.
It's just so fun.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
so
so
fun.
much fun. The character list was not big though.
Yeah, it
I
was
think there
really
was like
small. There
8 to
was only
10.
like 10. It was only like 10
Well,
characters
yeah,
or something.
something
It
like
was
that.
just kind of silly. Maybe they'll add more for DLC or something. Who knows? Like,
Hopeful it's free DLC. Free DLC, add like a couple more characters, expand that roster. You know you can, Nintendo. And I'm excited. This is super hype. This is great for me. This was
yeah,
Kirby and this was really exciting for me. I was
yeah.
really happy about this.
No, this one was a real cool surprise for me too. Where I was like, I don't feel like there was any rumor. Like this one kind of came out of nowhere. There was like no rumors of this at
Yeah.
all that I heard at least. And it's like, hey, we're bringing back Mario Strikers. Like hell yeah, we're bringing back Mario Strikers. I love Mario
Yeah, it's like
Strikers.
wow, this is
Game's
great.
fun.
This is great. We get Mario Strikers, Kirby, good year. Nintendo was showing some great stuff.
Yeah,
Uh
as I said, this direct was a banger. It was so good.
there's I'm super excited. June 10th, really excited. Um
Yeah, and for once they actually stuck to their promise before the direct, which was like majority first half of this year, which was actually true. There
yep.
were a few things that were beyond that, but actually the majority was the first half of the year.
No, it's true. It was. Uh Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes. I'm sorry, I was gonna say three houses. Three Hopes features characters from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I think there are definitely people that were happy about this. I'm I'm gonna say though that I'm gonna say disappointing. I'm gonna say I'm disappointed.
Yeah,
I wanted at least one, like whether it was the remake slash remaster or actually giving something for a mainline. Um,
yeah, new game.
I'm not too bad, obviously. Like, if it's not going to come out in the first half, don't show it. You already did your end of direct, like, big teaser reveal. But it would have been nice to know something. Do what you did with Breath of the Wild. Say, hey, we're working on some Fire Emblem stuff. We're not going to show it now, but stay tuned. So they do with Breath of the Wild too. Like, hey, we're not going to show anything, so shut up.
Yeah,
um,
they could have given us a teaser, just like Fire Emblem, and then like the title or something like that.
right.
A little teaser.
Or just say, we're not showing it right now. We'll show it later. Shut up. Then I
It's
would have been
like,
like, okay.
yeah, they honestly could have just had the announcer, the producer guy, the Nintendo guy, after this trailer be like,
Oh, I think you got Spectrum
we're
right
working.
there. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. The Nintendo guy could have just said, we're working on 2 more Fire Emblem games. We're not ready to show them yet, but
But stay tuned. Yeah. Couple baby Spectrums in a row there. It's tough.
yeah, I see that.
Um. Anyway, I will say I'm disappointed that the guy didn't come on and just tell me to just say shut up. At least I would have liked to have heard that actually.
But yeah, the rumors right now are that there is a there was a rumor last week that I don't remember if we talked about it on the podcast or not, so I'm gonna
Yeah, sure.
say it.
Yeah.
That there are 3 Fire Emblem games in the works right now. A spin-off, which would have been this one, the Warriors, and then a remake of a duology, which is either the one that's been rumored the most, which we've talked about, is the Tellius remake, so Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. But they could also do Fire Emblem 4 and 5 or Fire Emblem 6 and 7, which are both like in the same world and could be made as a duology.
Right.
So, uh, yep, we're back. And it
Okay.
will have the same Echoes subtitle that Shadows of Valentia had, which was the Fire Emblem 2 remake.
Okay.
That they did on 3DS. And
Okay.
then the third one is an actual like new game that they are working on, basically.
Yeah.
So that was the leak from a supposedly relatively reputable source, who a leaker who has gotten things right in the past and have gotten some weird things right in the past. So
Okay.
yeah,
Probably
like
some good reputation there.
apparently that dude they predicted Famicom Detective Club and the release date of it, which
Oh
is
my.
pretty. That was pretty random. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
That's out there. But
yeah,
shit, if they've got a source, I
yeah.
mean they've got a source.
So yeah, that was the leak, and I think he also said that they are coming out sooner than we'd think. So, which is why I'm a little surprised that we didn't see them at
Then
this direct.
E3, then
But I'm
E3.
thinking, yeah, if he's to be believed, I would be really surprised if we didn't see both of them at E3. To
Yeah.
be honest, the other 2 new games,
That
the remake and the new game,
sounds like E3 showing release date November, if that's the case. Like
yeah,
E3 show release November.
or early next year maybe.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah, true. Um anyway, Mario Kart Deluxe to get 48 new tracks with a paid DLC. So, for $25 you'll get all this, and also apparently it will also be free to all members of Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. So if you paid for that extra expansion pack, well, and you like Mario Kart, you get a bunch of tracks for free, which again, it's nice that they added some value on that. Um I don't really play a lot of Mario Kart, so I can't really say anything, but you did mention before that $25 for 48 tracks seems like a good value.
it's a really good value. I saw this somewhere. There are 48 tracks in the game right now. They are
Oh,
actually doubling the number of tracks in the game.
Jesus Christ. So many tracks. But this is actually more valuable for the expansion pack than the freaking N64 emulator. Actually,
Yeah,
this
it
is
is
more
way more
valuable than
valuable than
that,
that.
which I think is funny. But this was a big one too. Yeah, this was a big one to get like double the tracks in a game. Um, we're still wondering if Mario Kart 9 is actually in the works. Something tells
Yeah,
me this is like okay, Mario Kart 9, even if it's in the works, it's not close.
so it's a ways off. Yeah,
It's
because they
not
said
close.
these waves were gonna go until like the end of 2023,
Oh
basically.
God. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 2 years of these. Like, I mean, it's 6 waves, so you're getting like three a year, basically. One
Okay.
every, or sorry, yeah, 3 a year. So one every 4 months or so. The first one's coming out in March next
Sure.
month. So if it's one every, you get like it'd be like March, July, and then November, and
Hmm.
then I guess it would be the same, be March, July, November. Like
Yep.
if it was one every 4 months, which they may not exactly stick to that cadence, but approximately be like.
something like that.
spring, summer, fall, like spring, summer, fall, probably for these.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does mean that Mario Kart 9's not close,
It's not
not
coming
close.
anytime soon.
They would not do this if that was the case. There would be no point really.
Nope. I
So
think I heard some other people say this. I think they're like, man, we really milked the hell out of Smash Brothers with those DLC character packs. Why don't we do the same thing with Mario Kart? Because apparently, I've heard Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is actually the best-selling game on the Switch.
Jesus
So
Christ, that's
they're just
crazy.
they're just gonna milk the shit out of people and like, yeah, you want to pay 25 more? I mean, I think it's an amazing fucking deal.
It is.
$25 for 48 tracks is a lot. I mean, yes, they're all remakes of old tracks. That's fine though. That if they're taking SNES tracks, they have to remake the track
They
entirely
do.
on the
No,
new
they
system.
do. It is good value. It is good
Like
value.
for any of the tracks, I guess some of the the N64 one, any of the ones that were rendered in like more 3D, maybe they don't have to do quite as much work, but they still have to like put it in the new engine and like they have to remake the whole track basically on
Yeah.
in Mario Kart 8.
No, it's not a small task, actually. It's not a small task. So I think that's good value considering the amount of work that they probably put into it. I can't believe, wow, Mario Kart Deluxe is the best selling game right now. That's amazing for the Switch.
That's what I heard. I don't know if
That's
that's
crazy.
true or not. I just heard somebody say that. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's what I
That's
heard.
crazy. That's crazy. Game's been out for a long time too. Like Mario Kart 8, I mean, like specifically, Mario Kart 8's been out for a while.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure Mario Kart 8. I mean, the original Mario Kart 8 was on the Wii U. I actually
Yeah,
don't own the Switch version. I played it a lot on the Wii U, but I never bought the Switch version.
yeah, that's what I
I
remember
may
too.
actually buy the Switch version now and buy this pack. 'Cause I actually loved Mario Kart 8 when I played it on the Wii U. So,
Mario
um,
Kart's fun. It's just fun. It's a fun game. Um, well, there's one more thing we have to talk about.
yep.
Can you hold it in? Are you going to be able to hold it in? Okay. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was announced for September 2022. Okay, hold back. Hold back for a second. Okay? So it's been how many years since the most recent Xenoblade 2? Xenoblade 2 being a part of that series. How long has it
Xenoblade
been?
Xenoblade 2 released in December of 2017.
Okay, so it's going to be 5 years.
Close to almost 5
Yeah,
years.
almost 5 years, okay? So it's a long wait. You'd been tickling at this for a while now. You and Ghost in particular,
Yep.
you've been holding it. You've been holding hope for this. You've been getting that copium.
Yep.
Okay, now go ahead. How does it feel?
I mean, as you said, this rumor has been swirling for a while. I think it was April last year. The first we heard was the composer Mitsuda and like Ace Plus, which is part of the sound team. Right now, they had gotten together and done some recording, and it was like, well, that's the Xenoblade sound team.
Mm-hmm.
They're working on a new Xenoblade game. People were like, okay, and then more rumors, and there was the thing in the fall with the voice actors of Melia talking about it, and there were a couple other rumors here and there. Monolith like did some updates to their website and stuff like that. Again, Xenoblade community's been like waiting for this for a while, and I was expecting it last year at E3 and then at the fall direct, and we didn't get it, and that was disappointing. And I wasn't horribly surprised that it was there yesterday because again these rumors have been swirling for like over like about a year now.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about damn time. I was probably going to be really pissed even though even if this wouldn't have been here, this honestly objectively was a pretty damn good direct. But this was just, the cherry on top, the creme de la creme, the grand finale that
Yep.
was just
Because
amazing for this
you
direct.
were getting a little annoyed.
I
You were
was
getting
getting
annoyed.
second half of the direct. I was getting salty, especially most specifically the part with when they spent.
When they spent a long time on the sports. Yeah, the sports section was
Yeah,
that was a long time. That they took a long time on that. And I said that, though I was like okay with it because I'm like, well, the Wii Sports thing will probably
I
be
mean,
the more lucrative thing of
yeah,
the games that we've
well,
seen. It might be the most
obviously.
lucrative. So they gotta really show it off.
Yeah. Again, Wii Sports was fine with the exception of the like 2 to 3 extra minutes they spent on that cringy ass demo that was just terrible. But like,
and you got a 2-minute trailer of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which
mhm.
I've only played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and while I like the game, I'm I'm not a super fan. Okay, here's my analysis of that trailer. Cool. I gathered almost nothing from that trailer besides some of the tweets that you sent me with like, oh, is that Nia? Is that mass character
Yeah,
Nia? What's going on? Other than that, I was like, okay. I mean, like, I heard some voices. I recalled some voices in
yeah.
there. We said maybe Rex was there. We weren't sure about that.
I thought I
Nia
heard
definitely
Rex's
was.
I thought I heard Rex's voice. Yeah, there were like 2 masked characters at the end of the trailer. One of them was Nia, and the other looked like Melia, who was one of like
Yeah, probably in Xenoblade One. Was that a character in Xenoblade
yeah,
One? I don't.
Melia is the character in Xenoblade
Okay.
1, and she, similar to Nia, got cucked by the main character in Xenoblade 1. So,
Yeah, I. It was the my main takeaway is the game visually looked better, actually, which I think I expected it, but it visually looked better. I'm not going to say anything about the textures because I really don't know. Um, they didn't do a lot of close shots that I could say the textures still look bad, but the actual like vistas look better, in my opinion. They look better. Character models
yeah,
still look pretty darn good. I want to say pretty darn
yeah, I
good.
mean,
Um, I my only hope is the voice acting improves. That's my only hope. The voice acting in Xenoblade 2, sorry to say it, was
I mean,
bad. It was bad, but it was okay. I was okay with it, personally. I'm okay with it, but it was bad.
I
Um,
mean, it's gonna be they're gonna do the it's gonna be the British voice acting again. You could hear it
I'm
in the
okay with that,
trailer.
yeah.
It's gonna be that. I just
Just
hope that for me, I just hope the main character has more oomph than
right.
Rex did
Like
in Xenoblade 2. Like,
I'm hoping that like okay, like Nia's character, the Nia character voice actor, I liked it, but she sometimes was too like quiet. I hope they improve that. Maybe they bought her a new microphone. Great. Buy him some new microphones. Um I'm I don't care if it's British, voice actors. Just be a little better. I it it was distracting for me in Xenoblade 2. Like hearing Rex awkwardly scream, I was getting Mega Man X4 flashbacks and I'm like, "Ooh.
it's not that bad. Like,
I would you like me to pull a video up of Rex trying to scream? Cuz
uh,
that's
Rex's
almost as
anime
bad."
Rex's anime screams were really bad.
They were bad. They were as bad as some of the stuff in Mega Man X4. Mega Man X4 is legendary bad, but in like the best way possible. Um, I'm hoping that the voice acting improves. I will say that I think it will, and I have no doubt that the music is going to be good. I have no doubt that they'll do some improvements on maybe the combat side. I would say if there are core crystals in this game, I will throw my aquarium across the room. I will throw an aquarium across the room in anger. The core crystals were by far and away the worst part of that game.
Yeah,
Everything that was bad about it, we talked about it. Every bad thing that we picked out as a part of that game, all tied together in this like freaking like web, and the center point was the freaking core crystals. So
yep,
don't bring that back. I know it was important for the
100%.
story. I know it was important for the story, but don't bring it back. So that's my thoughts. But the game visually looked better. Oh, also, I just want to point out your ghost made a comment. He's like 100 times better than Pokemon Arceus. Fact. Factual evidence. This game looks so much better than Arceus. And I look at it and I'm like, God, Game Freak, can you just go contract the Xenoblade folks and just go get Monolith to do your work for you? This looks so much better. It looks so much more lively. Oh, it was really funny. And when Ghost made the comment, I thought of the same thing too. I was like, man, Pokemon Arceus looks like garbage when you put it next to
Yeah,
this.
I saw it was I don't remember if it was a tweet or a Reddit post today that was like it put the two side by side. It put like one of the shots from the trailer from Xenoblade next to RC. It's like these games are gonna come out on the same in the same year on the same system. There's nothing wrong with the Switch. It's like Game Freak being either lazy or just shit.
There,
Like I don't
like
know.
it's a
Like
it's a joke. It's a joke that Game Freak's game looks so much worse than this, and like this has voice acting, and like even if it's average, which I expect average, I don't expect great voice acting in this game. If there was great voice acting, I'd be so amazed. If it's average, that's still way better than Pokemon. Pokemon doesn't do any of that. It's like even like when there was bad voice acting in Xenoblade 2, I think I still appreciated that it was there. Like they tried. Like it was bad for me sometimes, but they tried, and I'm like, okay, you're trying. You probably got some less experienced folks to do it. It wasn't necessarily your focal point, but you tried it. I think that you, even while trying it, you had some really good voice acting moments. So for example, Zeke's voice actor was fantastic. He was like my favorite voice actor in that game.
yeah,
The
he was
Zeke
good.
guy was really good. He did a great job. Um, so Pokemon really needs to put more effort into their graphics because Xenoblade's going to put it to shame, and they need to put voice acting because there's no reason they shouldn't. There's no reason anymore. There's no excuse. So, um, anyway, what do you have additional things to say? I think.
I mean, um, I don't know the game. I mean, we'll see what they do with it. I mean, it's they've already said it's a sort of they said distant future, but I don't think it'll be more than like 100 or 200 years after the end of 1 and 2.
Oh,
Um,
so
but it's
okay,
the worlds are in some way the worlds are combined. Like it's a combo between 1 and 2.
right,
Again, we saw Nia, that mask character at the end of the trailer, who is Nia, who's obviously in the second game, and you had Melia, who was one of the party members in the first game on the other side, also in the trailer.
sure,
Um, and also they've even confirmed uh the cover art shot and the shot they show at the end of the trailer with the title
yeah,
is the Mechonis sword, which is the world of the first game. There's two titans. It's the Mechonis and the Bionis.
okay,
So it's the sword of the Mechonis piercing the Urian Titan. So
okay,
again,
yep.
that's like the worlds have gotten smashed together somehow.
Somehow they came together.
Yeah,
Somehow through the events of the end of both games,
probably
which
the end of the second game, to be honest. Like, or there'll be both games, but yeah,
yeah,
because like at the end of the, I don't, you're not gonna play the first game,
no,
right? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Yeah,
I really
so
don't think so.
like basically at the end of the first game, the main character Shulk decides to like they kill God or the god of that world in
Right.
particular, which it's JRPG.
Yeah.
And he decides he just wants to like remake the world without Zanza in it. Zanza's the god.
Yeah,
He's
sure.
like, yeah, I just want to remake the world peaceful without Zanza, and that's fine. And at the end of Xenoblade 2, like the Cloud Sea disappears, and they kind of like remake the world as well at the end of that game with like the Titans coming together into that
Right.
like landmass or whatever. It's both are pretty open ended, to be honest, so you don't exactly know what happens, but somehow or another, I think based on the endings of both two games, the worlds are gonna have been smashed together,
Somehow they
basically.
came together.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Somehow an event took place that caused them to converge.
yeah,
Um, which makes sense. That's the only reason why you would put those characters all together. Like somehow they had to have transported into both worlds
yeah.
into one.
And they've also said that the at least the main like the start of the game at least you're gonna have it's kind of like a warring world type thing. You have two factions who are at war over I don't think they said what the conflict was.
yeah.
And the party is gonna have 6 characters, 3 from each side,
Okay.
basically. So
Okay.
and I guess Ghost and I have talked about this. I don't know if it's him theorizing this or other people on the internet as well theorizing this that the game might start as like dual perspective. You have a 3-person party on one side and a 3-person party on the other side that eventually like come
Comes
together. And maybe
together.
maybe they fight a couple of times before you actually come together. Like
Yeah, I don't know if
the other have
I don't think I prefer that, but that would make sense as
yeah,
an option.
yeah, you also have like the male lead who is this ponytail dude, and then the cat ear girl is the female lead. So
Yeah, it would make sense. I'm not gonna say it isn't like a possibility. I don't think I'd prefer that though. Um, I but I think it makes sense. You can do some things narratively that would make sense, but I don't know. I'm not too keen on the idea of doing like split perspectives in games like that. It unless those perspectives are different enough where it makes sense. Which in this case, I'm hoping it is. Let's not do a Scarlet Nexus. Is my point. Scarlet Nexus
oh,
split
it won't be that.
perspectives
It
was
won't be
not the
that.
best implementation possible. But what if it is? Is the question? Is like, then I wouldn't prefer that. Is my
Well,
point.
again, this will be like the two parties, if they did this, would be on opposite sides of the war, probably doing completely different things from
Which
each other.
you're
Instead of in
yes,
Scarlet Nexus, you had two people that were part of the same organization kind of fighting for the same thing, and then
sort of,
eventually
yeah.
they kind of go apart and
Yeah, but
whatever.
we're
But
theorizing that that may not even be true.
no,
Um,
it may not. Again, that's
and
yeah.
my point is, I prefer they just didn't. I don't know why. I just don't. I'm not a fan of it. I know that it can work and it's probably great, but I'm just like, I think I'd rather just have the perspectives mesh together and experiencing all that together in some way. I just don't want to split things up too much. Maybe at the beginning, if it's that way, that'd be great. Um, but don't do that for too long. Is my
Yeah.
hope. I don't want
I
that
can
too long.
I can see that. I mean, yeah. I mean, we've seen again. Go said they've seen shots of 3-person parties, but we also saw a shot in the trailer of a 4-person party. You had the lead character and 3 people trailing behind them.
Yeah,
So people are assuming that the party size max in this is gonna be 4, as opposed to it was 3 in both Xenoblade 1 and 2. You had 3-person parties. So
right.
in this game, you'll have a 4-person battle party. I mean, it's like a 6 total, but 4-person battle party. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I'm sure like the combat wasn't a major issue for me before, so like expanding
yeah.
on that is great. Um,
I'm sure it will be similar in some way, in that there will probably be like auto attacks and then some sort of skill system. But what they do with it beyond that is a mystery to everyone. They will probably do something different than 1 or 2, because
yeah,
they tend to do that. They like to mix it up.
yeah,
Like
it'd be nice. Um, but yeah, I didn't gather that much from the actual trailer myself. I was
yeah, I
just like,
mean
okay,
the trailer for the most part was a nothing burger. It was a lot of like cinematic shots, shots, just very quick cuts. You'll get like a second or two in each thing, and it'll cut to something else. So it's hard to get a lot out of the trailer, especially if you
sure.
only watch it once, which most people do that. I've watched it a couple of times, but um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
just watch it. I don't usually watch more than once. So like that one, I mean, I get the part with Nia and the person with the mask being Nia, that made sense to me. I was like, okay, that
yeah,
someone's Nia here, and the mask
yeah.
character being Nia would make sense to
Like
me.
yeah, and also as Ghost said, like blades seem to still exist, or at least flesh eater blades.
Yes,
So the people that had core crystals embedded in them, like Nia, and the female lead in this game also appears again. If you see a different shot of her, appears to have a core crystal embedded in her chest
yeah,
as well. Um,
yeah, um,
so blades seem to exist, but like we haven't seen anything with drivers. Like drivers don't seem to exist. Like the blades have their weapons, but they all seem to wield their own weapons,
who's
basically.
the guy that
Like,
looked like old Zeke? Was that actually Zeke? It looked like an old version of what Zeke would look like. He
yeah.
looked like an older
P-
Zeke.
Again, people I've seen. He was much older. He had a cross scar over his face, and he had an eye patch still. He's only shown briefly in the trailer, and I've heard people say they think that's Zeke
I
as
think it
well.
is.
Because
I
again,
think it is.
Zeke also was a a flesh eater, or is it blade eater? I don't remember, but he had a core crystal
Yep.
in
Yeah, he
his chest.
did. Yeah. So I thought that was him. I was like, oh, that must be Zeke. He looks pretty old.
Yeah, he's pretty old.
Time's definitely taken its toll on him, and it would be nice to bring a couple, right? You want to bring a couple. Um,
Yeah.
I Rex isn't a Rex isn't a flesh eater. He has a core
Yeah,
crystal, but
he did, but I thought it got separated at the end of the game.
yeah,
Like, I thought it came out of his chest at the end of the
okay.
game when, like, Pyra and Mithra come
I
back,
don't. Oh
basically.
God, I don't remember. I
I'd have to rewatch
remember.
the end. I have to
Yeah.
rewatch the ending. Um,
So he could be just dead. Because he's
yeah,
okay. So
I
Ghost is a
I
human.
think
Yep.
Rex will be dead,
He'll be
and
dead.
as will, I believe, Rex and Shulk, the main character of the first game, will both be dead because they're both humans. They're both
Yep.
humans. They wouldn't have lived this
So
long.
the human characters are just should be dead at this
Like
point,
the majority
theoretically.
of the party members, like Morag would
Yep.
be dead as
Should be
well.
dead.
Yeah, Zeke and Nia will both be alive, but then like the rest of the party from Xenoblade 1, Dunban, Rhine, um, Sharla, those three were all human, so they'll be dead too.
Can we confirm the little guys in Xenoblade? Like how
No
long do they
pun.
live? No pawns.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't know what their
Can my
lifespan is.
can my main man Tora be back?
I don't
My
know what
main
their lifespan
bring
is, to
back
be honest.
Tora. Poppy could be
Though
alive.
though we
Poppy
do
could be
know
alive.
though we do know that again, they've shown the 6 party members, and there was no pawn party member in this game. We
I'm
had
done.
Ricky in the first game, and we had Tora in the second
I'm
game.
done. I'm
There's
done. This game sucks. This game sucks. Actually ruined it. Actually ruined for me. You just threw away the best part of your game. You took away the no pawn, the
I mean,
legend, the king that is Tora
yeah.
and
The other
Poppy.
thing
Ugh.
that I'll mention about this game that is interesting, and it's more like the first game, I would think, than the second, but the second game, man, did that game have a lot of fan service.
Oh
Pyra and Mithra,
yeah,
Pyra and Mithra especially, they are busty, and they
yeah.
were very like the character designs in this game for the 6 party members are much more conservative,
They
let's
are.
say. Like they look
They're
kind of normally proportioned people.
yeah. That game was really fan. Even the blades had tons of fan service. Besides, Pyramithra. I mean, like them toning down on that. Interesting. I wonder how people will feel about that. I'm sure there's somebody
Well,
out there that's like
they didn't.
they reduced the boob size, kind of thing.
I, 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 I mean, I don't know if it was a meme post or not, but I actually saw like a post on Game FAQs earlier that was basically that. It's like they I'm not. They're like, I'm done with this. I'm not doing this. They ruined the game because
Yeah.
they took that out for Xenoblade 3 again. It could have
There
been like a meme post, but
there's gonna be people though
troll.
that are gonna say that though. Like
I mean,
really.
yeah. The thing is, when you get a hentai artist to do your character designs, you end up what you got in
You
Xenoblade
get
2.
that. You get that.
So
Yeah, you get that. Which there's some people that really want that. I can tell you several instances of in Genshin, Rosaria, people dissected and said, "Hey, this new Rosaria skin, she's less busty." And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't dissect her bustiness. Who cares? Is my
yeah,
response. But there are people that are going to do that. They're going to be like, how come the characters are less busty? And there's going to be some people that are going to be turned off by that. Of course, there are going to be because they had that before, and that was like super appealing for them.
yeah.
So now that being kind of dialed down is gonna they'll probably won't not play it. I think that was probably a little bit of a troll post, but some people aren't gonna like it. Like the Rosaria Genshin people, where they're like making posts and actually putting pictures together and putting lines on the picture to actually show the measurements. And me going, you really shouldn't do that. It doesn't
Like,
matter.
you really spent this much time on this?
That's my response. Like you really shouldn't be spending this much time on this. Anyway, any other Xenoblade thoughts? I'm sorry, I have to cut it short.
No,
At
no,
some
I
point.
think we pretty much talked about everything we wanted to talk about. I'm super hyped from this game. I don't think we'll see anything about it again until E3, to be
Yep.
honest. We'll probably see more depth on the combat and more things about it at E3, but I think we got what we want. They announced our Xenoblade 3, which the rumors have been swirling for a while, and as we said, the direct yesterday was a complete banger. JRPG fans especially were eating real good, but I think there was something for everybody. There was a lot of good trailers. Even again, stuff for games we already knew about, like the Kirby trailer was really good with the mouthful
Oh my
mode and
god,
like
so
stuff like
beautiful.
that. So they they again, to me, this was one of the best directs in a long time.
This was good.
They absolutely knocked it out of the park yesterday. Nintendo killed it.
This was a good one. I agree with you. Even if you are not a JRPG fan, Mario Strikers could be of interest to you. The like Switch sports game could have been interesting. Kirby could have been interesting. Like there's still something for somebody else. Like platformers, platformer folks, Kirby, even if it's like Odyssey. Odyssey's a platformer still. Um and things like that. In the Mario Kart stuff. Like there's a lot of stuff that I think was good. So I agree with you. This was the best direct in a while. We've seen some directs which are huge nothing burgers, but this one had like half a dozen things that were great. Like really were great.
Yeah,
So
there was at least like probably between like 5 and 10 games in this direct that I'll probably end up getting at some
yeah,
point,
it
which
was
is like a really good hit rate. To
yeah,
be
it's great.
honest, it's crazy good.
Yeah, it was really great. This is a great little showing. So I'm very Nintendo has bonus points for doing a good job. They just need to stop copyright striking YouTubers. That's their next thing.
Yeah,
Maybe stop.
I mean,
Maybe stop that.
they so this is what they do. They're just like they'll be dicks for a while, and people are like, "Man, I hate Nintendo," and then they'll come out with a direct like this. And, man, we love Nintendo. They're great.
And
Like,
it does annoy me. I won't lie, it does annoy me, but this is good. Like they did a good job. They did a good job. Their fans should be happy. Fans should be happy. Um, okay. I'm sorry. Like I said, I have to cut it short. But I appreciate you bearing with me there, Spoon. Um, thanks everyone for watching this. Yesterday's direct was great. I think Spoon. Oh yeah, that's right. Zelda fans are not
yeah,
happy. That's
Zelda,
right. Zelda
Breath of
fans
the
aren't
Wild,
happy.
Zelda fans were in shambles because no Breath of the Wild
Yeah,
2. I'm sure they will do a deep dive on it at E3
they're.
or
It's
like
gonna get its own direct or
it
something.
probably get its own direct. To be
Yeah,
honest,
it'll get its
yeah.
own, and then Zelda fans can go back to their chanting on Twitter. But um, this is no. I think the direct was great, and yeah. The only closing thing I was gonna say is for those of you watching, thanks for watching, and we'll be back at some point either this weekend with some Halo or maybe we'll be back next week at some point. If anybody, by the way, Lost Ark is coming out this weekend. That's a big one that's really hitting on Twitch. I could play that too on stream if that was of interest. So that's also another possibility is I could hop on stream and play a little bit of that for the podcast, play some Lost Ark. The game looks all right if you don't care about story, which I don't, so it's great. Any last closing thoughts, Spoon?
Nope. I think we're good.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys at the very least next week.
Yep.
And enjoy the desert, Spoon, by the way. Have fun
Thank you.
and happy birthday.
Thanks.
See you.